Alright, hey, welcome back to SSX On Tour. I'm Anesthetic, with me is the same crew as before. Blank Tester.
Hey kids, how's it going?
Toro.
Yeehaw.
Ooh, and Zindictive.
God damn, got sexual.
Oh, okay. So, we're a pro, and I guess I was looking for a new board. I know I'm in combo boards, but I was just like, maybe whatever. Because I've been, like, changing up my outfits and such, so I think I was, like, red this episode, and this one looked pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a shame they misspelled Simon's name like that.
Yeah. And you can sell the stuff you've bought, which will give you, less cash than you bought it for. I guess if it something, just puts you over the top, then you can do that. I'm gonna buy another monster trick, the Steeb, because it's kind of like, oh hey, that's the pose of the hand in hand. That's like the one.
That's pretty awesome.
Reference or whatever. Yeah, I gotta say, like, maybe there's some people out there who are like the same age when they played this game as like I was when SSX 3 came out, and like these like monster trick names and such, the most or whatever. Me personally, it's like, the Steeb, the string cheese, the PT, what are these? Those are lame, whereas like the Jibbo, Carolicker, Matriculator are cool. But hey, if you out there think,
Yeah, it's definitely a matter, that's gotta be a matter of taste and also probably a matter of, nostalgia.
Yeah. But here's Hot Damn, I think, for the first time in this playthrough. And, this is a really cool track.
Yeah, one of the
really nice.
ones.
Oh.
Especially the way it ends.
Since Goldfinger's playing in the background, I gotta say, there's like a Goldfinger's Law or something where they must have like one great track on each album. That's the track that gets picked for extreme sports games, because like, you hear My Everything here, and I've always thought like, oh shit, this is an awesome track, and I've gone like, looked up the rest of the album, like Disconnection Notice. This is like the first track on that. I get through that, and then like track 2 starts, and it's really just okay.
I'll tell you exactly why that happens. It's because Goldfinger gets a producer, and they spend a lot of money and time on their singles, and then the moment they're done with the single, they're like, all right, make more of that. And then the producer leaves, and the money leaves, and Goldfinger is left to their own devices.
I mean, Superman, classic song, almost like the theme song of Tony Hawk. One, at least. And then, like, has anyone heard any other song on that album? And then Disconnection Note, same thing here. And Goldfinger also had left that song in, like, Tony Hawk 4. Like, what happened to Baby? I can't remember.
That was one of the first songs I ever loved.
Commotion? Motion? What was that song called?
Spokesman.
Spokes. Yeah. Yes, still come Spokes. Yeah. What other songs on the... I mean,
they had a song in Shaun White that was also really good, Counting the Days. I fucking love that song.
And then you probably listened to anything else on that album and were like, went in one ear and came out the other.
Yep. Although, honestly, I'm the kind of person where most music is like that. Like, even when I, like, try to listen to... I find it very difficult to listen to, like, albums all the way through. Like, it's very hard for an album to, like, touch me in that sort of way. Like, recently, like, Sunday's Best, The Californian, like, I really liked almost every song on that album. And there were a few that were like, yeah, I want to own this. But, like, before that, it's been like a while since.
Yeah, like, I'm kind of the opposite. Like, I really try to get a full album and have that and like understand it. I don't like just having one or two songs.
I'm exactly like before I buy an album like physically, I'll try like there's like a threshold. Like at least 40% of the songs on the album, I have to be like, yeah, I really want to own this, and then I'll buy the album. Or it's either that or I just don't buy any songs on the album at all. Because, I also do like having physical media and, like, owning full albums.
Yeah. I mean, I have a really weird relationship with music, which is basically all my music I get through Connor. Pretty much all of it is like Connor curates my tastes, more or less. Like, occasionally I'll find a song that I, like, or it'll be like something someone who doesn't normally make music has made. Like a YouTuber made a song, and I'll listen to it. And I'll be like, oh, I actually think that's pretty good. But like, I don't go out of my way to find music, and I don't really know how people do.
The only times I really go out for music is either when I just want to listen on Diesel or whatever, or when I'm trying to look for music to have in my videos for any of the Tony Hawk stuff and all. And I just go on Newgrounds and such.
Yeah.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah, you know, we can have like more music. I was like, because I was thinking like I was kind of actually waiting like to see if Bad Country, Avenged Sevenfold Bad Country would show up as one of the songs being played, but I guess we missed that. So like, you know,
I was actually
going to
say something, but I decided not to.
Thinking about that and like, you know, and replaying SSX On Tour, and it's like, okay, so mid 2000s when this game came out, like we were in middle school, and that is kind of like that sort of age, that sort of moment where I sort of decided what music I wanted to listen to, you know, rather than just being a kid and you listen to probably what like, your parents put on the radio in the car. Yeah. And like 3 bands kind of back then in the mid 2000s at this time really taught me that songs could be longer than just like 3 or 4 minutes. And that was Avenged Sevenfold, Tool, and 80s Metallica.
Yeah.
Like just I had City of Evil. It's a great album. You should, you know, if you've never heard the full thing, you should go back and listen to it. Because even the other songs, not just the radio songs, are awesome. You're like, dash it, scat it again, I fucking so go. You're like, they're awesome. And they're all like 6-7 minutes. Like, it's crazy. Yeah. Like, Avenged Sevenfold could seriously, like, put together some long songs. And especially Tool, like, when longer than, like, 10 minutes. And that's probably what led me to, like, post-rock and post-metal and such. And then just our friend Sean had all Metallica's older albums. But just, like, those 3 kind of around that time, like, just sort of that time when you really... you know, decide
you get to determine your own music
what
taste.
Music you want to listen to.
And see, like I was still listening to whatever my brother was putting on in the car, right? So that formed a lot of my music taste. So like at the time, I listened to a ton of System of a Down and Tupac and a bunch of West Coast rap, and you know, like I don't know, like for me, I just didn't listen to a lot. I didn't get to choose a lot of my own music. Because it was always my brother's choice. By the time he was out in college, I was already in high school, and it was like I just kind of lost interest in choosing my own music. Yeah, I mean, I still like System of a Down. Though I didn't really like their new stuff that they did recently. But that's just beside the point.
Yeah.
I did want to say, about Avenged Sevenfold in particular, you said you were wondering if Bad Country would come up. So, like, anytime I listen to music now, my relationship with music has changed just a tiny bit, which is... my father-in-law likes to have karaoke parties.
Oh, shit.
And I have anxiety about performing at karaoke parties. I'm not horrendous at singing. I'm not bad at singing. But, like, the thing is, like, almost... I don't know that much music that doesn't have, like, a ton of curse words in it. And so, and so I was like, oh, no, you know, I can't do anything rap, right? But, like, I also don't want to do anything too depressing. And I can't do anything that involves, like, you know, growling or screaming vocals, because I can't even do that, and even if I could, it wouldn't be appropriate for a karaoke party. So I'm always listening for, like, melodic songs that I know the words to, and I can be like, oh, yeah. And then I thought, I heard Bat Country, and I was like, oh, maybe I should write that down. But I also forgot that he's extremely religious. So, like, if I sing Bad Country, I'm pretty sure that would be the end of our relationship.
Oh my god. Like, you go back in time and retroactively object at your wedding.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god. That's a great mental image.
Yeah, for something that, you know would have a karaoke track or would be at the, karaoke machine or something, you'll probably just need to listen to, like, I don't know, classic rock or top 40 hits of today or something.
Yeah.
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 Like, I'm sure you could learn Olivia Rodriguez and,
Oh, yeah, I probably could do that, yeah.
Also, just to bring up about the long music thing that was mentioned beforehand, whenever I listen to music and such that is, like, 8 minutes long, 10 minutes long, or whatever, like, say, The Doors, The End, or Bohemian Rhapsody, or whatever, usually when I see that and listen to it, I always see it as, like, this big epic song, like, this masterpiece that they've created, or whatever. And then I hear shit like Revolution 9 from the Beatles, and I'm like, okay, you fuckers are just trolling.
Well, yeah, they were. I think. Weren't they?
Yeah, and I mean, like, in my case, like, again, like, post-rock, post-metal, I got, way more into that in, like, later high school and college, to where, like, one of my favorite albums, and maybe one of Bob's as well. The band Fall of Ephrata, their Allele album is just 3 20-minute long songs. And, Dominion Theology is still one of my favorite songs of all time. But, like, kind of recently, like, in the last few years, I've kind of chilled back to, like, listening to, you know, I don't want to just, like, regular, like, stuff, but I mean, like, just, it's not like, oh, let me just turn on this 15-minute epic, you know, kind of thing. Like,
I mean, I remember at the start of high school, there was...
I'm too old for that shit.
There was, like, one... there was one song that I listened to that was, like, over 5.5 minutes long, and that was New Order's Blue Monday.
Yeah.
And, like, now I would say, like, my top 5 favorite songs of all time, 3 or 4 of them, I can't remember off the top of my head, but 3 or 4 of them are longer than 7 minutes. 2 of them being Built to Spill, 1 of them being LCD Sound System. So, like, yeah. But, like, also, like, you sort of, like, that's sort of like how your music taste progression typically goes. Like, you branch out from, like, whatever your parents listen to into what you like, and then you start to look for more obscure things in the genres that you like, and then you branch out into new genres.
Yeah.
Or at least that's how I did it. Like,
see, and it's interesting you say that because that's a very typically American way to do it. My parents are Indian, so, like, the music that was on in the car was not the kind of thing that I was ever going to really be into, because my dad's listening to, like, some traditional Sanskrit thing that I can't understand, and I don't even know what instruments are being played, you know? So, like, it's not a transition from my parents' taste to my taste. For me, it was actually more like, when I was in the car with my mom, she would just put on whatever was on the radio, because she also didn't have a strong connection with music. And so, like, it was just whatever played on the radio. And then from there, it was my brother's choice, you know? So, like, I don't know. Like, I had a very different experience, but I can definitely see what you were describing as being a very typical experience, yeah. Starting from your parents and then evolving from there. I mean, that's kind of how our opinions generally form on most things, right? Like, food tastes and politics and whatever. We tend to start from close to where our parents are and then diverge from there in typical households.
I mean, I'll admit, my music taste is a fucking mess, because sometimes I'll listen to, you know, usual music that's, you know, pretty good and top hits or whatever and then I'll listen to bands like Anal Cunt and Igor.
Yeah.
So,
but see, like, I wouldn't say that your musical tastes are fucked. I wouldn't say your musical tastes are a mess. I would say that your musical tastes are varied. Because, like,
diverse,
like, there are lots of people who would say, like, oh, I listen to everything except for X and Y. You know, usually the 2 X and Y are rap and country. But, like, people will say, I'll listen to anything. And, like, will they actually listen to anything? I don't know. It doesn't really matter whether they'll listen to anything. Because, like, I think with an open mind, any genre of music can be really good. Like, when I was a kid, my dad would take me to these, like, Carnatic music concerts. And Carnatic music is like a style of music from his state in India. It's like really, really specific. And like, they'd have these concerts once in a while in our area, and I'd go, and I would be so fucking bored. Because I'm like, I don't get it, I don't care, this concert is 6 hours long, and it's like, oh my god, I could have done anything with my time. But like, now as an adult, I'm like way more interested. Now I'm suddenly like, I'm open-minded about it, and like I would like to go to those things and enjoy them, and like really impress on myself. Like, this is a very different style of music, and I think I could probably get down with it. But like, as a kid, I was just too young and I was too naive to really open-mindedly approach that kind of thing.
Yeah, and also, what I was sort of thinking is like, I bet a lot of people like, well, obviously, a lot of people who grew up in like this era of video games had a lot of their music taste influenced by the music in these games, especially. Yeah. Like, I mean...
Definitely.
I mean, I was sort of a console generation behind. My first console was the PS2, which I got in 2007. And I remember, like, me branching out from my parents' taste to my own taste was very much from these games. Like, Franz Ferdinand was, like, the first band that I, like, loved after the Beatles. And, like, I remember, like... I'm bringing this up because this song used to be my favorite song of all time. The one that's playing right now. Yeah.
What song is this?
Maximo Parks Apply Some Pressure. It was like, yeah, so like every once in a while, like, yeah.
Yeah, like I first heard Boy Sets Fire from 1080 Avalanche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I first heard Crush 40 from Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah. Crush
Same.
41.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's where all of us heard Crush 40 for the first
Yeah.
time. You know, the music designer or the music director for the Sonic Adventure games is the guitarist for Crush 40. Like, it's not like he just brought him in. Like, he's in Crush 40.
Yeah, like there wouldn't be Crush 40 if there wasn't Sonic,
Sonic, yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Crush 182.
Also, it's gonna be a weird thing for me to admit, but I got into Sum 41 because of Worms. Because some people
Really?
made like Worm compilations, and the music they used was almost always Sum 41.
What?
That's great. I love
Divorced
that.
from context. I really like
One of the
word
compilations was
compilations.
literally called The Sexy Worms.
Comment section, two questions, two things. Like one, more serious, like yeah, like what was your first kind of music you chose for yourself? But two, what was your like favorite band that you heard from a really weird place?
Yeah.
Like some shit like from Worms Trick Shot compilations or whatever.
I'm certain
Yeah.
maybe, I would say, maybe I'm overestimating here. Maybe like a fifth of Fort Miners fans came from people watching Halo compilation videos.
Just remember the name, yeah.
Just remember the name was the song everybody chose.
I'm thinking of Elf Bowling Tribute. If anyone knows what I'm talking about
Oh
there.
my god, I actually do know. Wait, do I? Never mind. I'm not gonna make an ass myself.
Elf Bowling Tribute is so good.
But yeah, like, yeah, and then after all that, like, you know, you settle down, but also, well, oh my god. I'm trying to get somewhere, but I'm formatting it so bad that if anyone wants to say something, go ahead.
Like, I mean, the way I mentioned that, like, before you sort of, like, branch out into new genres, you tend to go deeper into, like, your own,
Yeah.
the genres that you listen to first. Like, the way I get a lot of my music these days is from Rate Your Music's, like, esoteric charts from genres I already listen to, which makes me feel like such a dweeb.
Yeah.
Like, instead of listening to, like, something outside of my comfort zone, I just look for something in the indie rock category that has, like, 20 reviews.
I tend to, the way I tend to find music these days, like when I'm in the mood to try to find music, I'll just go to a space with people that I don't know that well, and I'll ask them about their music tastes. And just see if I can, like, you know, if they name a band or name a person or whatever, I'll just be like, I'll just look them up, right? And, like, the reason I do that is because, like, if I ask people I know, they're more likely to give me answers that I'm already familiar with, you know? Like, if I ask you guys, I'll get answers that are in line with what I already know about you guys. But with, like, new people, I might hear, like, oh, yeah, have you heard of this Vocaloid? And I'm like, no, I've never heard of whatever the fuck you just said, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, I'll give it a shot. Like, I'm willing to. I may not like it, but I'll give it a shot.
A band I can think of right now where I feel like most people would, like, only be able to know them from, like, two things, maybe, is Breaking Benjamin, because either you know them from Halo, or you know them from the Half-Life Machinima I'm Still Seeing Brain from So Cold.
I'm gonna say they're popular enough on the radio.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
If you
popular
listen
enough on
to
the radio
rock
that they were
stations.
cool. Yeah.
But definitely, Blow Me Away was everywhere back in the day.
Yeah.
At least from, like, Halo Watches. What I was going to get at is, like, and then, you know, when you're in your mid-20s, you play or replay a game that you didn't really pay attention to on the soundtrack before, like the Amped series, and then you end up buying, like, 15 freaking albums from them. And, like, like if I am going on, like, a long car ride, like, from driving back home, like, my, you know, parents' house or something, some of those albums will still be the ones that I put on if I, you know, want to listen to one thing for, like, 40 minutes because it's really, really good. You know, like 11 or Mock Orange kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I was on a long car ride recently, and some great driving music if you're into it. Manuel Goetsching's E2, E4. Very, very good album.
Yeah.
It's,
See, like, here we go. I think there's a value in saying bands where it's just like, yeah, it's going to bounce off the other three of us, but hey, you listening if you want to listen.
I actually
Yeah.
want to say something. This is something of a PSA, I guess. So Marty O'Donnell, the composer for the Halo series, or the composer for the Bungie Halo series, and I believe he was also on. Well, either way, he was on Destiny, and then for reasons that are not worth getting into, he got kicked out of Bungie. It doesn't really matter. He's been over the last couple of years, he's been running a YouTube channel where he posts some of his old stuff from back in the Halo days, including like old attempts at coming up with different tunes and things, trials and different tunes he tried out, different instrumental versions and stuff. Well, he's actually getting into some legal trouble right now.
Fucking really?
I believe for that stuff. And so he also made he's got some really good albums for the game Golem, which he and Marcus Lato made, and then he has another album that's like a prequel to the Golem album. Either way, if you're a fan of Marty O'Donnell, that might be a thing you didn't know. On Bandcamp, you can buy his stuff and support him, because if he is actually getting into as much legal trouble as it seems like he's about to, he's gonna need the help paying for his legal costs.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. I can't speak to his character on everything, right? So like, if he turns out to be a big piece of shit, then I'm sorry. But like, I was a fan of his work, and his work is available. A lot of his work is available on Bandcamp now.
And he seems like a cool dude.
And he seems like a cool guy.
The last few years.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. Like, I hope they settle things out of court. I hope he doesn't need to, pull up a bunch of money for legal stuff. But like, he's gotten into some trouble on his channel relatively recently. Hopefully that'll be resolved by the time, you see this.
Yeah.
But like, that actually was worth pointing out. Like, a lot of video game composers these days, a lot of their stuff is on Bandcamp. Like, they have their own pages, and like, especially with indie games, a lot of times the composer for those games isn't like somebody with the company. It'll be somebody that they found to do the work. Like, for example, I heard of an artist, Monomer. He did the music for... Do you guys remember there was that Tom Cruise Mummy movie that really blew?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had a video game.
The one with the advertisement that fucked up.
Yeah, the advertisement was horrible, the movie was horrible. They made a game to go along with that, and that game is fucking awesome. It's an incredible game. And it's got like a really cool electronic soundtrack done by Monomer. And so, like, I went and bought his album, I think it's called Labyrinthine or something like that. It's a really good album, and he's a really good electronic artist. And his stuff is just on Bandcamp, because he does music and he does other things too. So
yeah, I just want to bring this up real quickly, that they're not just on Bandcamp, they're also on like SoundCloud as well.
Yes.
For instance, if you want to hear the music of Jet X2O, from the composer, the entire soundtrack of that game is on SoundCloud. Yeah.
Really?
Send me a link afterwards. I'll put it in the description. Because like a couple fleeting times over the years, I've been like, yeah, this soundtrack to Jet X2O is pretty sweet, but like, I'd probably have to record it from the game, because where would it be?
You know what I was thinking about doing that for? You mentioned that No Clue band isn't like anywhere on the internet. I was thinking about like going into the game and recording the songs that were in there from the emulator.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because that Unlock the Door song is really good. I really like that song.
Yeah, and kind of to contribute, like, to wrap back around, sort of back to like songs I heard from the Amped games. Like, yeah, a lot more of those songs, from like the early 2000s or such. Those bands were on Bandcamp when I wouldn't have expected them to be. But like just I don't know, band that obviously didn't get a ton of exposure, but had some songs there, like Elliot. You're able to look them up, and they have their page on Bandcamp, and I could just buy those 20-year-old albums,
Yeah, and the composer of Jet Set Radio and such, he's also on SoundCloud. You can see all of his music and his remixes and such on there.
That's great.
Oh,
That's really
Joseph Lambert, yeah, thank you. He probably did exactly what I said I have to. Remember, he was a big fan, commenting a lot during the compendium videos.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
nice
yeah.
Oh my god.
Bladder testing ladder.
Are those wings flapping? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They're flapping.
Kind of is like you get up to a high speed and they get some wind going. It's just
What if the wings flapping actually affected the physics realistically? Like, it doesn't just give you more air, it like specifically pushes you whichever way the wings are pushing.
That would be
I
cool.
got wings.
That'd be terrifying to
Like, hey,
program,
you wanna-
implement, and also probably wouldn't be very satisfying.
I feel like it'd be significantly worse to play than to program. Like the program, it's all you got to do is you're like, okay, well the wings. Yeah, you're applying a force basically out of the torso, pointing, normal to that, and then the rest of it is a nightmare to play.
Yeah. Although, I mean, I think I mentioned this before, but I took 3 years worth of programming classes in high school, and I will never ever judge a game developer ever again. Because holy shit, just spending 3 hours debugging a program that changes the color of a square when you press a button. Oh my god.
Wow. The thing is, I find, I still don't mind complaining about game programming when it's the kind of thing where, you have the budget and the time to make something really, really great, and more importantly, you have access to people with the skills to get this done correctly, and you still don't do it correctly.
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't expect, I don't know about other game developers. The only game developer I would say I would put 100% of my I would be genuinely ashamed if I saw serious glitches in a game they made, would be John Carmack, because that dude has regularly, throughout his career, reinvented programming. He writes white papers, and he's just fucking brilliant. And, he's famous for making Doom, with John Romero, but, Carmack changed the way we do gaming and the way game programming was done, multiple times throughout his history. And now he works for Oculus. And so, if there was some, absolute game-breaking bug, I would be ashamed of John Carmack. I'd be like, look, man, I guess it's possible that he's gotten worse in his older age or whatever, but, almost anybody else is well, everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah, programming wizards are fucking crazy, honestly. Another one I can bring up is John Burden.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dude who's been behind Traveler's Tales, the guy who basically programmed games like Sonic R and Rascal and all of that.
Yeah, no, he has a YouTube channel, doesn't he?
Yeah, Game Hut.
Yeah.
Showing all the insane shit he's done.
He's done some he was the one who he was one of the guys who was in charge of the early Lego games, and some of that shit is remarkable. Once you see how how that stuff works in the background, it's you've really squeezed a lot out of the hardware.
Yeah, I mean, also the obvious example of I forget who made the original Roller Coaster Tycoon, but he made that in assembly.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, that's insane. Yeah.
Bless up to that guy.
Big bless up.
This is diverging from the subject, but you mentioned Oculus, and I just kind of want to say out loud, if at least what the Russian Badger says is correct in his videos, the Oculus Quest 2 or such actually looks pretty interesting as a headset, since it's you're able to just be the PC as well as the headset and run the games.
Really?
Because the thing with VR that has always been oh geez, is that not only do you need to buy it, but you need to put the sensors down all around you and have a million wires. But apparently VR headsets are getting to where the chips and shit are just built into that, so you could really just wear that, hold the hand controllers, and just
go.
That's it.
Go.
That's so much better.
That's
literally no strings attached.
I don't know. That wasn't
that sounds really
Facebook
cool.
Oculus at shill, but just does anyone know more information? Because that seems like it. I might get into VR if it's really now I don't need to dedicate a room for it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would be amazing, because I had dedicated room for my one with the not the Oculus, but what Steam was going for, the Vive. Yeah. And I had to put the mounts and shit on there, and I wasn't a fan of that. I would much more prefer just having a VR headset where all of that sensor shit is inbuilt to the headset, and you don't have to use those mount craps.
Yeah, I mean, Microsoft's got their alternate, or what's it called? Their augmented reality headset, which kind of works like that. I believe the sensors are in the headset, and then they scan for the hand controllers, but if you're not looking at the hand controllers, it doesn't know where they are. So, it works for some things. I know Matt played VR chat with it for a while. I don't know how big VR chat still is. Maybe it's still huge.
I think it's still decently popular.
Is it? Wasn't there a VR or first-person Extreme Sports game coming out or something?
The one game made by the guy who made the original 1080. I forget the name of it.
Right?
It's
Card
snowboarding.
Right? Yeah. Was that gonna be? Was that was VR?
Yeah, that was VR.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. I wonder, yeah, if you got a VR headset, Connor, I would say that would be an interesting one for you to cover.
Yeah, I don't know. Because
how sensitive are you to like motion sickness?
I am concerned about that, like basically having a screen like just a few inches from my face.
Right, I feel like that could
how
hurt your
long
eyes.
would I last with that? But I don't know. It just like everything else in my life, it's something I sometimes am like, that could be cool. Now I'm gonna go back to watching YouTube videos and not actually buy anything or whatever. But like, I mean, like, like VR chat, like I had a month or two where I'd watch, YouTubers do funny things in VR chat. So I'm sure, like, stuff like that, like...
that probably still happens, yeah.
That's such a great litmus test. Like, you see something in, like, a video, and you're like, man, I really want that. So you just watch another video for an hour, like, other videos for an hour, and, like, if you still want it, then, like, maybe it's, like, something to look into further. If it's, like, completely escaped your mind already, then maybe...
I kind of want to get a VR system just because, like, my wife's not big into games, and I'm trying to... Like, she wants to play games, but she doesn't have a good game sense. I mean, she doesn't have a good sense of direction at all in real life. So, like,
that's terrifying. To like put a VR headset.
Yeah, like I want her to be able to explore places without literally getting lost, and then I have to find a new wife.
Oh my gosh!
I'm not done with this one yet.
Yet? Oh god!
Did I? Sorry, I said that thing about my father-in-law the other day. I don't know if I said this on a video. I just want to tell this quick story. When we got married, we went to the courthouse, and this was during pandemic, so like we didn't have a thing. We'll have one later at some point. But like we just went to the courthouse. Her family was there, and her mom asked us right outside the building. She said, "Do you want to take a picture of you guys standing outside the building where you guys got married?" And I said, without thinking, "Oh, don't worry, we'll be back here for the divorce." And she was so mad.
Oh my god!
Why would you say that?
You gotta raid the goofy in real life.
Yeah. A little bit too goofy there. You goofed a bit too hard.
Yeah, you goofed hard.
You goofed your last gaff.
Her dad and mom's, their smiles just drop. Oh, that's a true story.
That hit so hard.
Don't worry, we'll be back for the divorce.
On that note, this video is over.
Yeah,
what a great way to end this.
SSX On Tour.
Halfway through, going up to the next rank. So, yeah, we'll still be a pro. Next video, join us then.
Hope he won't get a divorce.